Jurassic Park, one of the most influential dinosaur movies and franchises to have ever existed. But there is something that has bugged me in this franchise for a little over a decade now. The fear and the horror of the franchise is gone. With Jurassic World Rebirth coming out this week, I wanted to make a video talking about the horror of the franchise and where it has gone. So join me while we discuss why Jurassic Park is no longer scary. So, if we're going to talk about the horror of Jurassic Park, we have to go back all the way to the original. No, not the first movie, the original book. I was having a discussion with someone earlier last week, and they didn't even know Jurassic Park was based off of a book, which got me thinking, how many people actually do? Probably not a lot, unless you're already into dinosaurs and the Jurassic Park franchise. In the original Jurassic Park book, there is no mistake that this was a horror novel aimed towards people who loved dinosaurs and science fiction. Michael Crichton wrote this book knowing that this wasn't supposed to be a kid's book. It was supposed to be a philosophical endeavor into why we shouldn't mess with nature. A dark and twisted tale that was full of running, screaming, and gore. Something almost unimaginable to people who grew up with the original film. When it finally came to adapting the book into a screenplay, Michael Crichton and Steven Spielberg worked on the first few drafts before passing it on to two writers, Malia Scott Marmot and David Koepp. They created a screenplay that was aimed more at families than adults. It included some of the original horror themes and scary scenes from the book, like the T-Rex escape scene, the Dilophosaurus scene, and many more. However, Michael Crichton's original novel is distinguishably darker and scarier than what was made for the big screen. The Dilophosaurus scene, for example, is way darker in the book than what was made for the film. Having the Dilophosaurus tower over Dennis Nedry, gutting him, picking him up, and crushing his head between its jaws is genuinely one of the darkest parts in the book. Even though the horror aspects of the book weren't completely translated into the original film, Jurassic Park is still terrifying in its own right. I consider it one of the best examples of introductory horror. Horror movies that are made for a broader audience and could be people's first introduction into the horror genre. This film still has aspects of horror in it. Let's see if the other films continue this trend. The Lost World Jurassic Park is one of the most controversial sequels in the Jurassic Park franchise. As of late, I have seen a lot of disdain towards this movie, even though I think it is an amazing follow-up to the original. The Lost World is also based on the Michael Crichton book of the same name, a book that is also darker than the film it inspired. Even with this, I would say that this is probably the darkest Jurassic Park movie thus far. The scene where the pair of T-Rex hunt down their baby and where the main characters hide in the trees and you don't even get to see the T-Rexes, but you hear them, and it is truly terrifying.
We're in a completely different situation right now.
Then watching them kill someone innocent, something that is very uncommon in the franchise, is also very devastating and horrific, even if it lacks the gore that we would see in something rated R. Then there are the raptors, hunting down and killing tons of people in the tall grass, one by one, almost like an unstoppable force, hunting everyone down and only losing some fear factor with that one scene. Jurassic Park 3. Once regarded as the worst Jurassic Park movie, it's now looked upon more fondly. I've always had a soft spot for the film, probably the one I've watched the most as a kid. This is also the one that delves into a different kind of horror genre, slasher films. Okay, hear me out. This film is a horror slasher. Why? Because the Spinosaurus hunts down the main characters like it's Jason fucking Voorhees, an almost unstoppable monster that kills anything and everything in its way. The fact that the Spinosaurus is hunting them down and have nowhere to run and no way to fight it is terrifying. The raptors are again part of the fear factor, even giving us a cheesy jump scare.
Alan! Alan! Alan!
The movie plays like a cheesy slasher film, with all the dinosaurs trying to kill the main characters. This is where the eventual problems for the franchise begin. Jurassic World is where I feel the movies began, if not lost, the horror that they used to inspire. The film again kind of feels like a slasher, with the Indominus hunting people down and killing everything in its way, but now they added a ton of jokes that don't land, or some of the dumbest characters in the franchise thus far. Some moments are scary, like the scene where the Indominus is taking down the ACU. It camouflages itself before it strikes and takes down all the people one by one. The raptors are not as scary in this one as they were in previous installments. With Owen being the pack leader for the raptors, they didn't get much of a chance to shine and be scary until the end of the film, where they turn on the humans and side with the Indominus. Even though that didn't last long either, leading to a giant dino on dino fight at the end of the movie, which felt like it turned into a Marvel film. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This is where the franchise lost its spirit for me, and the horror of the dinosaurs is gone. All that is left is the horrors that humanity brings upon itself. Even then, it's not the greatest. The Indoraptor is cool and could genuinely be one of the most misunderstood and terrifying dinosaurs in the franchise. Lots of dumb characters and jokes later, the film has left a sour taste in the mouth of fans, even though the one that comes next is probably the worst. Jurassic World Dominion. This film was promised to be a return to form, a scarier film than the last two, bringing back the original cast to survive the horrific mad science of man once more. It was not that. Jurassic World Dominion is the film where the horror was completely sucked out. The stakes were not there. Every character was going to make it out, and we knew that from the start. The dinosaurs have become jokes at this point, not serving much if anything to the plot, and only being there to look cool or for really dumb jokes. They made the Dilophosaurus, which is a dinosaur we have wanted to return for the longest time, a complete joke. It's just terrible. I will say that the Therizinosaurus scene is probably the scariest in the film, and a damn good one at that. Then the movie ends with a cheesy dino on dino fight, but it's still not as cool as the last time they did it. The horror that the original Jurassic Park book created was slowly diluted the more and more the franchise went on. When it finally came to the Jurassic World trilogy, it just took all the horror and fun out of it for me. The horror that man was playing with powers that it could not control, and those powers literally coming back to bite them in the ass, was gone. I could simply say that it was for money, or the people behind these films acting like these are just for kids and don't need to be scary. But honestly, I think it's because they didn't understand the meaning behind the first book and the first film. We are our worst enemy. Humanity has the possibility of doing some incredible things, but all it takes is someone greedy enough and arrogant enough to ruin it for all of us, creating monsters and acting like we brought back animals that have long since been gone. Hopefully Jurassic World Rebirth brings back the horror that I have so desperately been craving from this franchise. I've heard some very good things so far from people that I know that have already seen the film, and I get to watch it early, so expect a review soon. What do you think? Has Jurassic Park lost the horror that it used to have? Let me know in the comments below.